Welcome back, everybody, to the Nemesis Gaming League, where we are looking for hopefully this fifth game 5 of the night. We've had an action-packed night as we get heading into the postseason, and we're hoping to keep that trend going here in the Novice League for Diffusion and Gorgons. Joining me in the booth tonight is the one and only Mr. Merely. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Almost had several heart attacks during these series, which have been so ridiculous. 4 game 5s in a row is already a record for Nemesis. If we could get a fifth one, I don't know what I would do. Probably just fall out of my chair. Someone might want to stand by to clip that. But we do have Diffusion going up against the Gorgons, and if there was a team to bring us to a fifth game 5 of the night, it would have to be these two. Even records, both 9-9, 7th and 8th seed, obviously going up against each other once again. And well, we've got a matchup on our hands full of both these teams are full of players whose names I am not confident that I can pronounce consistently. So this is going to be a bit of a undertaking for us here, Magic.
Yeah, have to agree. Probably everybody in Diffusion, we're going to have a stroke trying to pronounce their name, but we're going to do our best. But either way, both of these teams, as you said, finished 9-9. This is probably the best bet we have for a 5-game series, and probably all the Novice League playoffs. As I think ending the season, Diffusion, they lost on Saturday to Ninjas, so they're not exactly on a high note coming into this game. While Gorgons, they took down Frost their last match, who's basically whoever wins this game tonight will play Frost in the playoffs as the 7th seed. So Gorgons have proved they are ready to take on whatever the postseason throws at them. Diffusion, they got to prove to us tonight that they can hang with these guys. And if their records say anything, this should be a close series. I know we have all the chimeras in the lobby, but hopefully 27 minutes after the intended starting time, the Diffusion guys can figure things out and give us a match tonight.
Well, I hope there's no chimeras in the lobby. But I do think we have.
I mean, that'd be entertaining. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be entertaining. Well, it would be a stomping, but we do have, I think, all of the players in the match. As I do expect this one to be a close one. Diffusion, they did lose on Saturday, but they won the series before that, and also last time these teams played earlier on in the season, somewhere back there in week 5 or 6. Diffusion did end up taking that game 3-1. So they have shown that they can beat the Gorgons before. I do think that the Gorgons beating Frost was a pretty big upset. One they might have wanted to save for playoffs, if I'm being honest, because Frost are a really good novice team, and they're going to be tough to take down 2 times in one season. Gorgons obviously have a pretty long road to get back there regardless. But Diffusion have not been on the hottest spree historically. They haven't made playoffs since season 4. They made play-ins one time last season, but lost the first round. And the Gorgons also made playoffs in season 6, but lost the first round. They've never actually won a playoffs match before, so they have both these teams have a lot to prove on the historic side of things. Neither of them have really had much success in the playoffs, post-game or postseason, I should say. But we're waiting on these teams to join up. They were given the green light. Maybe they're all on console and can't see the chat. I'm not really sure what we're weighing on here, actually.
Yeah, as long as we have everybody, I think we're good to go. So maybe if they have the stream open, they can hear this in about 10 seconds and we can get rolling. But yeah, as you pointed out, Diffusion not exactly on a hot spree heading into this match. I mean, but the time is now. There is no second chance. Well, there is a second chance, actually. If you lose this game, you do play the winner of Acceleration and Ignite. But you know what I mean by this is postseason. You don't have many lives left, so every win is so important. And here we are going onto the field merely. I'm gonna need that completely accurate. I'm gonna hold this to you the entire match. What's the score of this series gonna be?
Well, I read that the script writers really went hard today, so they're predicting another game 5. And I think I'm going to have to actually give it to Diffusion in this one. I think they're going to come out and strike first, make it to that number or to that spot where they play the number 2 seed in the playoffs. I'm calling it.
Okay. I respect it I don't know how we're going to pronounce his name, but we'll call him Arquives for now, as he puts a shot on target to get things rolling, but just barely off the side post. And an open net here for Rygic. That's how we're going to call that one, as the first goal does go to Gorgons.
We'll say Rygic.
Okay.
We should have taken like 10 minutes to figure out how to pronounce these guys' names, but that was a great shot from Rygic. Really good speed on the takeoff. Accurate as well, just barely bouncing it in. That's a really good sign for this Gorgons roster. Getting off to a hot start here.
Yeah, and the early goal coming through after a bit of pressure was put on them just a few seconds before. A missed shot came off the post, and it kind of looked like, oh, the pressure's going to be for Diffusion, but very quick counterattack and a nice shot off the backboard from Rygic to get the scoring rolling in our match here. Huge 50. Sends this ball down to the Gorgons half of the field. Arquib's going to hop in front of that 50, but see Ben just taking the ball the length of the field here with several 50s of his own. And things slow down here. Arquib's trying to get a pass up to the midfield. It's off the backboard. Somebody looking for a shot, but no one nearby. And almost a good beat by Cool Socks, but it will be taken care of. And so far, that one goal being the only bit of danger we've seen so far.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, other than that one nice shot, not really much to write home about, but Cool Socks or Rygic, actually, Rygic will get his second goal here. And the pressure, even though there was a lot on the other side of things, the Gorgons end up scoring.
Yeah, 2 whiffs coming through. That was just handed to them on a silver platter. I mean, you take those every day of the week, but Diffusion kind of showing those flaws that we saw in their past few series. A lot of mistakes coming through, mistakes that need to be cleaned up pretty quickly. As 2 goals coming through very early in this game, as a third one almost found home. Or excuse me, that would have been the other way around. But so far, not much to write home about for Diffusion. A shot on target here, and nobody in the net, but a huge save by Seiko. It will be cleared away and sent back down the field. Diffusion just hanging on for dear life here, trying to get some offense of their own.
That's a really good sign for this Diffusion roster. Maybe able to get one on the other side of things. Can't quite find the shot. The save was clutch. Really hard to come back from 3 goals. 2 goals seems much more doable, although they are still under some heavy pressure here. They really have to try to find a way to poke holes in the defense of Gorgons, which looks solid so far, but all starts with not overcommitting too much because, well, the first goal was just a clean beat, but the second goal really was avoidable if they didn't all commit so hard. Have to be careful using your resources.
Yeah, and as you said, that last goal, once you see that first guy whiff, you got to change your strategy there, because that is not okay. And another shot is rolling the entire way of the field, and kind of another free goal, number 3 for the Gorgons.
And once again, Diffusion just caught creeping up a little bit too much. Irozu in no man's land, and Cool Socks gets it clean over them. Another clean outplay. Now with half the game left, things are looking difficult here for Diffusion.
Yeah, 3 goals is the task, and this is only game 1, so, I mean, this is not a good start for a series. It's really important for both of these teams. It may not be your last life, but you do not want to head down to that lower game, because even if you win that one, you are playing the 1 seed, and that is a lot rougher task to make a postseason run than to win here and play the 2 seed instead. So it will have to start here in game 1. They can't let this game bleed out. I need to see something from this Diffusion roster, and it's definitely not a 3-0 scoreline, really.
And yeah, 3-0, not a great sign. It really looks like the Gorgons are dominating in this first game as well. Not really under too much pressure. Even when Diffusion has the ball in the half of the Gorgons, they haven't been able to put on very many threatening shots at all. They have 2 shots, but not very memorable ones, and not very many big opportunities. Even if they can't win this game, they have to try to get some momentum back, get some shots or some kind of sign so that they can have something to hold on to as they move forward.
Yeah, and as you said, shots on target are going to be a good place to start. And we only have 2 so far from them. The third one does come through, but that one of those 3 finally was actually at the very start of the game. So it's been a solid 4 minutes with, until then, 1 shot on target. That is not a good place to be. But right now, a minute left to go, hoping for a miracle. Ben high off the corner. Very awkward read for the defense, but it will be taken care of. Last minute rolls around, and Diffusion trying to get a counterattack of their own here. Seiko with the dribble, plenty of boost to work with. Flicks it over 2 people, but that flick a little bit too juicy for even the guy waiting for the pass. Iroza putting it to the midfield, but a little bit too high again, as these passes are there, but just a little too much oomph on them. And as 40 seconds left to go, I think Gorgons just about have this one locked up here in game 1. a crucial series for both of these teams, and so far Gorgons looking well up to the task as C-Ben, he's just everywhere in defense right now. Every clear seems to come from him, and 20 seconds left to go. You can probably chalk up this game early, and I mean, look ahead to game 2 if you're Diffusion.
And they really have to just try to reset that mental. The Gorgons are playing extremely well, and now it's going to be on Diffusion to try and rise up and take advantage where they can. But the defense has been so good for the Gorgons. Like you said, C-Ben getting back to almost every single ball, leaving no gaps to be taken advantage of. And if there is a silver lining for Diffusion, they've had a few good shot opportunities, an air dribble that was almost went in, but once again, the defense so good that it wasn't quite capable. Diffusion, if they can minimize the overcommits, they will have some more opportunities here, but they're going to have to make the most of them.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing I took away from that game is that was a completely self-inflicted loss. Sure, there was a lot of goals, or a couple of goals, I should say, that kind of felt like, okay, good shot from the Gorgons. But a lot of the times it was just, wait, where's the goalie? Oh wait, they're all three on the Gorgons half of the field, and the ball just rolls into the net. But you can't take away from the Gorgons. Very convincing game one victory, as you said. Defense was solid. I mean, 4 shots on target. That just means you're owning the midfield. You're quicker to every ball in the middle of the field, and you're not letting the shots develop at all. And you can't get scored on if there's no shots coming through. So step 1 for Diffusion going into game 2, don't allow yourself to be staring down the barrel of oh, we have to reverse sweep or we're going down to the loser's bracket match. Make it happen now and tie up the series before it gets out of hand.
This is probably the most, well, if we could bring it to a match point, the second most important game of the series for Diffusion. Like you said, if they go down 0-2, not going to be great. That's almost a nice highlight reel play there in the opening seconds, but nothing comes of it quite yet. Diffusion seems to be getting more aggressive, and we have a Rule 1 on the field, so we will now be devolving into a 2v2. Wait, who broke that?
Someone ran into him.
Oh, that's acceptable.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's better than a break, but I mean, just for everybody watching, that is considered breaking Rule 1 in my mind. If you have to bump somebody out of it, that's cringe. You can't win a 2v2 kill issue, but 40 seconds gone by, nothing at all has taken place. We've had 1 shot on target from Seiko, but no problem for Ryjic as he saves it. And a huge 50 win for C-Ben. Cool Socks unable to find the bumper. It would have been an open net there. Irosa almost takes out 1, but Ryjic dunks out 2 people. Can he finish the play? It's just barely too far out of his reach to bring it around into the net. Our quiz has boost to work with, enough to get midfield. Irosa putting it off the backboard, but right to the waiting arms of Ryjic, who dumps it off to Cool Socks. Another 50 comes through in the midfield, but it just sends it off to the corner. A minute gone by here, and I'm seeing a completely different Diffusion team, or at least I did, until another overcommit leaves the goalie just dumbfounded with a shot coming towards his net.
To be fair, there was a goalie, and Irozu wasn't in a terrible position. He just didn't react fast enough. He didn't realize that there was a shot possibility there from Ryjic. Hard to blame him, as it was a pretty good shot that seemingly came out of nowhere watching his perspective. You still have to be ready for anything. These Gorgons have shown they can shoot the ball even in difficult positions. And now Diffusion, once again down in the series, still looking to get their first goal.
Yeah, and as we saw in game 1, it was Ryjic with the backboard read that put away the first goal of the game. So they have to give this guy some respect when he has a shot opportunity. And there's pretty much 2 people sitting around in the defensive half, and both of them just not ready for it. A huge clear comes through, but Ryquiz is right there to send it back the other way. An overcommit or just a whiff straight up from Ryjic, as if he found that touch, it probably would have been fine, but either way, Cool Socks will make quick work of the ball rolling towards them and send it down the field. Irosa passes up the ball, had plenty of boost, but kind of hurts himself with some misplay there. Seiko, nice read here, sends it up into the midfield. A demo does come through on the goalie, but nobody nearby for the Gorgons offenders to put on the shot. Another 50 comes through from C-Ben, trying to get another goal to come through. The last time we were in this situation, it was another overcommit that was the self-inflicted harm for Diffusion. Let's see if the Gorgons will just wait for that to happen again, or if they'll get a little more aggressive and try to get each other involved in the play and hard earn that second goal of the game.
I mean, right now it seems like they're perfectly comfortable just sitting back and taking all the shots that Diffusion throws at them in stride. once again, Diffusion just not really creating threatening opportunities. And on the other side of things, what a save from a great shot from the Gorgons, actually. Still sending these absolute heaters at net, and another one coming through, unable to be read by the defense. Cool Socks going to add another one to his tally.
You just hate to see it. That was not exactly a misplay, just a very awkward read off the corner. Seiko, I mean, he was in net waiting for the ball to bounce, but he was just not ready for that bounce. And an easy goal cleaned up there. As so far, yet to find the back of the net is Diffusion. I need to see something soon, or it looks like they're just going to bleed out the rest of the way. I'm really hoping for that Game 5 every series of the night, but we're waiting on Diffusion to give us that, because it is on them right now. Because I don't really feel like Gorgons are playing Immaculate Rocket League, but it does seem like they're pretty close to it right now.
Yeah, Diffusion, don't do it for your team. Do it for us, okay? Do it for the casters. We want Game 5. We want talking points, okay? I mean, I would love to see them bring it to a Game 5. Right now, they really just need to find their groove, because this is not how they are going to get there. C-Ben putting home another one, and really Diffusion just looks like they just look lost. Somebody needs to get them a map to this path to victory, because the Gorgons they're walking all over them right now.
You see, the Diffusion players are playing on this new mod called The Ball's Invisible. That's why they're whiffing every time they're third man back and giving free goals away. Because, I mean, I know we're in the Novice League, but these are touches that, you know, if you get to this part of the season, you're probably used to making it every single time. But every time that they whiff, it's a goal. And it's always been the Diffusion players that are having the whiffs. So, I mean, if Gorgons start whiffing on defense, maybe we'll have a different series, but they're looking completely confident in their mechanics. And Ryjik gonna let this one go by to C-Ben. A minute left to go. Diffusion, they're pretty much on their last life here, as if they don't find a win in this game, there's a minute left to go. It is back to the drawing board, and you can probably just hope for a miracle in a reverse sweep in the postseason. That is a lot of pressure. It's Cool Socks trying to find the read off the backboard. Ryjik is going to keep it to the midfield, but Seiko is in the perfect spot to clear that away. Not possible to whiff that one as the ball just rolls towards him. And probably a shot on target coming through, as we haven't seen more than 2 in this game, even less than we saw in Game 1 here, merely. And that's what we called on them to fix. But maybe it's the whiffs they need to fix first.
I mean, honestly, it just looks like the Gorgons are the better team right now. They're playing better. They're faster to every ball. Their defense is on lockdown mode. And Diffusion just can't find anything. Honestly, if I'm Diffusion's coach heading into game number 3, you're clearly not playing your best Rocket League. I would say stop trying to hit the ball so much. Just demo the other players. Take them out of the equation. The only way you're going to win at this point, I'm sorry, but the Gorgons are just playing better. The only way you're going to win is if less Gorgons are on the pitch, and you can create some opportunities. You got to try to throw something in there to mix it up, and I don't see many ways for a path to victory from them, but if they can start taking out the players, maybe tilt them a little bit, just create openings, then it might be possible.
I think you're right. Now, another thing I see is there's nothing threatening about any of these shots, or even these clears from Diffusion. It's like, okay, the ball's rolling at me. I guess I'll bang this back downfield if you're a Gorgons defender. I mean, I guess they didn't need the Chimeras to play Diffusion. They can just sweep them out of this match themselves. I mean, then, hey, we'll take it. As right now, they're looking dominant. This looks like a team of prospects just making light work right now. So Diffusion, they got to clean up their own mistakes. It's not even about the offense at this point. It's about the defense, because, I mean, if you're giving up 3 goals a game, what's the point of talking about, oh, you only had 2 shots on target? Because, I mean, you can win with 1 goal. You're not going to win if you're going to keep letting 3 goals go by every game.
You know, that's very fair, but also stop missing the ball is a very hard game plan to implement in practice as opposed to theory. As already off the bat, an opportunity, that one's almost in. It just barely gets pitched out, and Diffusion cannot score to save their life. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely heartbreaking.
And merely, we have a perfect sweep on our hands here, and that was probably their best shot so far to keep that from being a reality. But from what I've seen, if they can't put that one in the back of the net, how are they going to score? Off the crossbar, it's just sitting there for 3 seconds straight, and they still can't make it happen. Arquiz does put another shot on target, and they've already equaled their shots from Game 2 with just 30 or 40 seconds gone by. And this is a good first sign to see. I mean, it's not exactly everything we asked to be fixed yet, but oh my gosh, a miss comes through by the backboard defender, and it almost was a backboard read. Ryjic off the backboard, open net here, anybody there? Cool Socks will slot it bottom right, and the same Gorgons is back for game 3.
There's a minute down. So far, what is that? 11 minutes of gameplay and 0 goals scored for Diffusion. Gorgons are looking poised to take the reverse sweep, or the perfect sweep. And as much as I want Diffusion to come back, they need to try to do something drastic here, because whatever they're trying, they got some pressure early on, but the cards do not seem to be in their favor. They're not drawing much right now. They have struck out every single time they've gone up to bat. And I'm not really sure what can fix that, to be honest, at this point. But they need to just go try and go sicko mode here, whatever that means.
I mean, I've seen Champ 1, Champ 2 players in my lobby sometimes, and they're much more capable of demoing than scoring most of the time. So I think you're right, and that probably is the strat here. If you can't score, I mean, we're in a 3v3, just score in a 2v3. It's a much easier game plan. As a 50 comes through, Irosa trying to clear this ball. Seiko looking for the pass. It's a great pass. Almost a shot on target, but with 3 defenders in the net, if that one's not top left, it's probably not too much to worry about for the Gorgons defense. Seiko putting this one high, but Ryjic with a good read. Trying to get this mid to Seiko, but he can't find the touch. Arco's going to backpedal with no boost to try to collect this one. And with that misplay comes an easy clear for the defense. It was looking like finally a prolonged stay in the Gorgons half. A couple whiffs come through, and just like that, the Gorgons take control of the game once again.
And you know, I like that attempt there. You saw the Diffusion player locking up a Gorgons player in another Rule 1, trying to make it a 2v2 where maybe they would have the advantage. But even the Gorgons won't let that happen. They break out of it once again. They want it to be a 3v3. They want all 3 of their players firing on all cylinders. I like the creativity, but it doesn't come to fruition this time. Rule 1 strats not on the table. Now 2 minutes left. Diffusion still trying the same exact thing, and it's still not working, to nobody's surprise. I mean, I don't know what to tell them. They have to get crazy here.
Yeah, and they're looking like they're playing much more, basic Rocket League correctly than they have in the last 2 games, but it's still not working for them. As another shot from Cool Socks, he is best friends with that bottom right corner, and he slots away another one, and at this point, it's time to panic for Diffusion.
Yeah, Diffusion, you can't go next anymore. There's no more games in the series. It's now or never, and they are not showing up when it matters. Since the beginning of the series, Gorgons have had just a complete handle on every situation. Now we are seeing the pre-jumps off the ceiling. Desperation, absolutely, from Diffusion. Maybe if they could score something like that, they would regain enough confidence to try and take a game, but right now they just have to focus on keeping the ball out of their net, and it looks like it might not be happening. That one's slowly rolling in. See, Ben, I don't even know how he touched that ball, but he picks up the goal, and it might just be over for Diffusion.
Cool Socks almost just cut off the jugular right there, that shot, and he almost had the double read as well off the bounce. That would have been disgusting, but either way, Ben is there to clean up the play, and yeah, I think at this point, if you can't score in the first 2 games at all, and you have a minute and a half to score 3 again, I think we've seen this script 3 times already in this series, and it ended the same way every time. They have ended the perfect sweep, and maybe the start of something miraculous.
If they somehow win this game, that would be legendary. Their only chance basically now is that the Gorgons get extremely overconfident, like they just did, thinking the series is over, and maybe they get a few free goals, maybe one off of kickoff. Rajic's missing this. The ball's heading towards the net, but it's not quite enough. Diffusion needs a miracle here.
Yeah, and they have about a minute left to go to find that miracle as Arcos with a clear downfield, but the defensive rotations are so good. The only time a goal went through was, as you said, the Gorgons getting a little overconfident and trying to, kind of show off for stream because they had the series locked up, but, hold the phone. The Diffusion finally getting a shot on, and it finally finding the back of the net is, some small victory to take away heading into their next match if they still drop this series. And, I mean, with the Pawns being the 1 seed and Frost being the 2 seed, those are pretty evenly matched teams. I'm not saying, if you lose this match and you have to play the Pawns at the end of the day, that you're just done for. There's another shot. comes through, but it's off the post. I mean, as I'm saying, you just have to hope you can get a win from their next series at this point because I didn't see much to see. Arquiz. Okay, hold the phone. Let's
Wait a
not start talking
second.
bad about them. They're getting mad because this is winnable now.
Wait a second. There's 23 seconds on the clock. Now, I'm no good at math, but I think that's enough time for us to bring it back to a tie ball game. Diffusion, still, they've used up 2 miracles so far. They just need one more, the greatest of them all, to tie this game up. Can they do it? Oh, I sure hope so.
According to my Jaeger's handbook, they have a 27.6% chance to win this game here. Can they pull off the comeback and bring it to a game number 4? It doesn't look like it's another shot. Cool Stocks with a This is Rocket League walk-off moment of the Gorgons are heading on to the playoffs to take on Frost as the 7th seed. And I mean, just 2 goals the entire series. That was an impressive victory by the Gorgons as they are looking like a team to be reckoned with this postseason run.
Man, did someone forget to give Cool Socks a script? We were supposed to bring it back from 0-3, no goals scored, to a game 5, but freaking Cool Socks has to ruin it all, man. I mean,
Yawn.
credit to the Gorgons. They played fantastic. Diffusion, in all honesty, I mean, I don't feel like it was on Diffusion playing that poorly as much as the Gorgons were playing very well, and Diffusion seemed like they just kind of felt powerless against the immense defense and offense of the Gorgons. I think at the end of the day, the Gorgons just came out the better team, and with a performance like that, I could definitely see them pulling off some shenanigans in the playoffs. Maybe making a bit of a run, but first they have to get through Frost, who, like we already mentioned, they already beat last Wednesday. Now they'll have to do it again once the playoffs come around, but we know it's doable.
Yeah, and I mean, now it's like, if you're Diffusion, how convinced do you feel that we could actually, make this postseason run happen when you get just demolished like that in that game? It was just Gorgons playing almost perfectly, but there was a lot of whiffs at the end of the day that Diffusion can clean up, play a little more calm, and kind of play their game because they didn't look like they were playing the Gorgons game the entire series, and it did not work out for them. But either way, I mean, we got 5 game series. It was only right that we got a sweep because I mean, something's wrong if we get 5 game series the entire way. So either way, a great night to start off the season 7 postseason, and it's only going to get even more spicy down the road. So I mean, we'll see y'all Wednesday for another night of bangers. And merely, it's been a pleasure.
As always.
We'll see y'all Wednesday.